Make money with AI, you need to stop selling AI agents and workflows and start selling AI solutions. And I'm not talking about AI operating systems or regular automations. I'm talking about diagnosing problems that businesses face and then using AI to solve those problems. Why are you guys all here watching this video? Because AI has exploded. The difference now is that because you slap the word AI in front of it, suddenly business owners are paying attention. It's like putting a neon sign on an old restaurant. The food hasn't changed, it's nothing new, but suddenly people are noticing it. And here's the truth. Businesses really only care about three things: time, money, focus. Think of it like a taxi ride. If you need to get across town, you don't care if you ride in a Prius, a Tesla, or a horse-drawn carriage. Well, I suppose some of us may, but that's beside the point. You just care that it gets you to your destination fast, cheap, and without stress. Businesses feel the same way. They don't fanboy over AI itself, they fanboy over the outcomes. That's why AI-centric selling doesn't work. Selling agents or workflows as products is already a crowded, commoditized market. You've probably seen people offering entire libraries of end-to-end templates, claiming that you can resell them all for $5,000 a month. The shift is simple. Stop selling AI tools and start selling the outcomes of those tools. Spotlight the pain, frame the solution around time, money, and focus, and that's how you win. And that leads us right into the next section. What should you actually be selling? AI solutions. The difference is an AI workflow is just a tool, but an AI solution is a tool that's directly tied to solving an actual business pain point. When you pitch a solution, you're not saying, I'll build you a chatbot. You're saying, I'll cut down your customer support workload by 60%. I'll automate your client onboarding so you save 10 hours a week. Or I'll help you create AI-assisted content so you can slash marketing spend by 30%. So the framework we're going to be talking about today is to diagnose, then solve, then value, then price. And it's a simple process that I use every time. Diagnose means find the pain point. Where is the business leaking time, money, or focus? Solve means build the system that fixes that exact pain. Value, translate that fix into numbers: hours saved, dollars saved, revenue gained. So let's take a look at an example: automating client onboarding. First, we diagnose. Right now, your team spends 5 hours a week onboarding new clients. Then we solve. I'll build a system that can automate 80% of that. Then we turn that into value, which is 200 plus hours saved a year at $50 an hour. That's $10,000 back in your pocket annually. And then you price, I'm saving you 10K a year. I'm only going to charge you 3K right now. Suddenly, the price isn't a cost. It's now just a fraction of the value that they're gaining. This is why when I'm on calls, I don't lead with, let me show you my workflow. I lead with questions. Where are you losing the most time in your business? What processes do you wish could run themselves? Because the diagnosis always points me to the solution, and the solution always ties back to measurable business value. And when you get good at this, you stop being just another automation freelancer. You become the person who can look at a business, spot inefficiencies, and design solutions that save them time, money, and focus. Okay, so step one, pick a niche and diagnose the landscape. The goal here is simple. Choose one group so that problems repeat and your wins compound. Spend 10 minutes deciding whether you'll serve agencies, real estate, e-commerce, coaches, local services like dental or HVAC, SaaS startups, whatever you want it to be. Run your pick through these quick filters. Do they repeat processes weekly? Can they say yes and pay fast? And do you already speak their language through content you've made or past work or interest? Step two, talk to 5 to 10 businesses and diagnose the pain. Treat these as informational interviews that could often turn into discovery calls and paid work. I like opening with a simple message. Hey, name, I'm mapping the top drains in X niche. In 15 minutes, I'll try to quantify your biggest bottleneck and share where AI actually helps and where it doesn't. No pitch unless you ask. I'm genuinely just trying to learn how I can provide value to businesses. On the call, I would then use the LRP framework, the listen, repeat, poke. This basically means that I listen while they describe their week or their processes, I repeat back the pattern to confirm alignment, and then I poke to quantify it, and move into step 3, which is building one simple solution and solve. Once you've diagnosed a clear problem, prototype the fix. And notice how I just said prototype. This doesn't have to be a perfect production-ready system. It's a POC, or a proof of concept, that shows that you understand their world and it proves your technical expertise. This doesn't mean you have to dedicate an entire week to it. Here's how you can spin one up in an hour and a half. Spend about 15 minutes drawing the flow. Now that you understand the process, just map out the trigger, the steps, the data sources, the outputs, and a clear definition of done. Spend the next hour doing a rough build on one platform like end-to-end, so you have something real to click through and demo. And then finally, use the last 15 minutes to record a quick 3-minute loom that walks through the before, the actual solution itself, and then the result. And make sure you have your camera on because people want to hire people, not faceless screens. Next is step 4, which can trip up a lot of beginners. This is turning your solution into a price. And the easiest way to do that is to translate what you built into plain math that a business owner can understand and relate to. Here's how I explain it on calls. First, you have to figure out how much time the process takes today. Say a team spends 10 hours a week on client onboarding. Then ask what those hours are worth. If the average employee is paid $25 an hour, that's $250 a week. Multiply that by 4 weeks to get a month, and suddenly the process is costing the business around $1,000 a month or $12,000 annually. Now let's say you're only able to automate 60% of that workload. That's still $600 saved every single month. Over the course of a year, that's more than $7,000 back in that business owner's pocket. So when you turn around and say, hey, I'm only going to charge you $3,000 for the solution, it's not an expense anymore. It's an investment that has a very clear measurable return that already pays for itself in 5 months and it keeps saving more money every single month after that. And that's how you make it a no-brainer. And of course, you have to remember that value doesn't equal time. The client's not paying you for how long it took. Finally, make sure to keep your scope clear and simple. Write down the objective, what's included, what's not included, the timeline, what's expected from the client, the payment terms, stuff like that. This avoids confusion, ambiguity, it protects you from scope creep, and it makes you look professional. So to recap, the formula is dead simple. Figure out how much time and money the process is costing now, build a POC, and show how your solution cuts down that time and money, and then price your project at a fraction of those yearly savings. Businesses will pay happily when that math makes sense. All right, moving on to step 5, which is to stack proof, build confidence, and then scale. I'm going to be honest real quick. When you're starting, imposter syndrome is normal. You're going to wonder if you can deliver and whether the client will be happy. At this stage, I would have been happy to do work for free just to get experience. And the fact that I was getting paid was a big bonus. And if you're stuck with that worry, you have 2 great options. The first one is to do free or very cheap work in exchange for proof. Say, hey, I'll try this build out for you for free. Either way, the system will be yours. I just want to see if I can help create something valuable for you and your business. This removes pressure and lets you optimize for reps, not money, which is exactly what you should be doing when you're starting off. Over the past year, we've been working on projects that have ranged anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 all the way up to $30,000 plus. And none of that would have happened without the low stakes project that built up my confidence and portfolio, which let me comfortably charge more and more every time we scoped out builds. And honestly, I still think a lot of our projects we've undercharged, but that's a conversation for another time. Anyways, once you have those first wins under your belt, make sure you're collecting that baseline and after data. So your hours saved, your errors reduced, your money saved, and then turn them into simple case studies. Of course, you want to ask for testimonials and referrals, and then rerun the framework with new prospects. But now that you have proof in hand, it's going to be a lot easier, because at that point, you're no longer saying, I think I can help you. You're saying, I've already helped 3 businesses just like yours. Here's the proof. Here's the results. You want me to do the same for you. And that's when the imposter syndrome fades, because the market is actually validating that what you're doing is working. And that's pretty much the full loop. Diagnose the problem, solve it with a simple system, tie it back to business value, and then price accordingly. From there, you stack up your proof until you can scale with confidence. If you want to succeed at selling AI, you've got to leave your obsession for technology behind and think purely about the customer, aka the business that you're selling to.
So guys, like, subscribe, turn on your notification if you find value in this video, and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. See you in the next one.